when you die, they're not going to put like CMO or amazing marketer. They're not going to put that on your headstone. They're going to put mom or wife or those types of things on your headstone. And so like that combination of events led me to doing what I love and with the people that I love.
This is Full Stack Moms.
This is not a parenting podcast nor a business podcast, but a place where we talk building careers in tech, raising kids at home, and making it work in public.
I went fractional in 2019, and it wasn't really called fractional back then. It's kind of become like the new F word.
Yeah, seriously.
So we'll leave that for like another, a little bit later. But I became fractional as a way to slow down in between my kids. I tell people that I have 2 speeds, on and off. I figured that out about myself, that I have no middle gear.
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah,
I say fast and asleep. I'm either fast or asleep.
I feel like that's powerful women really have 2 speeds, on and off, which, you know, awake and powerful or asleep, which I really feel like most of us don't get much sleep these days, either rocking the world or, you know, recharging. But I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I had just left a business, and I had this like vision for myself of like, I'm going to work. And this is like the old version of fractional. Like, I'm going to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm going to take my kids to the pool on Monday and Friday, which is like the old version of fractional. Yeah. And so my daughter was born the end of March, and I was like on March 30th. And early, but still fine. My first daughter was a micropreemie. I don't know if you remember that.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. But we can get back to that story in a little bit. So I had this vision for the summer that I was going to, I've never been one to like take long maternity leaves. I don't know why, but was going to take a couple weeks off. And there's a company that I was intrigued by and that wanted me to work with them. And I said, yes, but I'm only going to work with you 3 days a week. So that was kind of my vision for the summer. I worked with them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and was with my kids on Mondays and Fridays. And we did a lot of pool time at the JCC over the summer. So that was kind of my version of fractional that summer. And then the business, I say it, my first failed fractional gig, if that was a thing back then. They were like, hey, things are getting kind of busy, and we'd really like for you to like be here 5 days a week. So I came on full time, but was still getting paid as not a W-2. Yeah. I was still, and I've always been attracted to small and growing businesses. I worked at ExactTarget, Salesforce, and then I also, because I'm an OR fellow, which is an entrepreneurial business fellowship, I was asked by one of the co-founders of Angie's List to come back to Angie's List after they dropped the paywall. So a very pivotal point at Angie's List to come back to run B2B marketing after they dropped the paywall because of the state of the business. So I've always been attracted to businesses at points of inflection in the business. And I've done 8 M&A events in my career.
Nice.
So, you know,
I need to count mine.
Yeah. Just being able to find points of change and be at companies understanding that there's not always a path for you at the end, and being okay with that, but being able to manage through change and help companies at points of inflection. So that was kind of my first fractional gig, was, you know, that time. And then I went on to work at a private equity company, which was I would say my last, I hate the term in seat, but my last W-2 role before I went full-time fractional. And that point of inflection was, I was asked to make a choice between my daughter, my oldest daughter, who was having a really important operation in Cincinnati, and they wanted me to come back and fire an employee because they were closing down my part of the company. and they wanted me to come back and fire an employee. And they told me that I was apparently making a choice. So
by going to your daughter's surgery.
No, I was sitting in the PICU with my daughter who had just had a really critical surgery. That was when I decided.
Insane.
Yeah,
that's enough to make anybody fractional.
Well, so I had a mentor that said to me, you got to think about like what's in the center of your circle. And at the time I was having like an identity crisis of, I had always put, and I think a lot of women who are high achieving women put work as part of their identity. I am a fill in the blank. I am a marketer. I am a revenue operations professional. They put that thing as part of their identity. And I had always put work as part of my identity. And when I left that business, I had always put work as the center of my identity. And this was at a point in the economy when it was really, really tough to get a job. And so I went without a role for a little while. And I was like, I felt like I was like wandering a space, like trying to figure it out. And I felt like I was really lost. And I had a mentor that said to me, maybe somebody's trying to tell you that the path that you're on isn't the right path for you. And this happened for a reason. And you need to put something else in the center of your circle. And so I started thinking about like what really, and my mom has always said to me, like, when you die, they're not going to put like CMO or amazing marketer. They're not going to put that on your headstone. They're going to put mom or wife or those types of things on your headstone. And so like that combination of events led me to doing what I love and with the people that I love. And that kind of led me to the fractional path. Being able to, like, my son's birthday was yesterday, and I didn't have to ask for. Thank you. He was 6. Mal and I have
happy
kids
birthday
that
to
are,
you. You're the one that gave birth. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
True.
Happy birthday to my son that I gave birth to. But being able to not have to ask permission to go have lunch with my son yesterday. I don't have to ask permission to do anything to anybody. And so being able to be in control of my own life now and being able to just do what I want to do with the people that I want to do it with is one of the main drivers of why I continue to do what I do. So I know I just talked a lot, but I just wanted to share my drivers.
No, that's amazing. You've got some incredible, compelling events that led you to make some of these choices. And so it makes total sense to me. I had my consulting stint when Grayson was born. And so I decided I wanted to stay at home. And then really that just meant being a consultant, working part-time. And
are we ever really like poised to be stay-at-home moms?
I thought
it's too
I
hard.
could do.
I think it's too hard.
You know, I wanted to try.
Not for me. It's not for me. Not for me.
It's not. I admire it. I think it's amazing. I think, you know, I really wanted to give it a shot. So I tried. But I had the same fractional fails that you did, Rachel. So all of my consulting clients kept hiring me full time. And it was like, consult, join full time, have a baby, take a break. Consult, join full time, have a baby, take a break. Like it just kept going and going. And so I think what I pulled out of that is that I just really did love being part of like a bigger company and a bigger team. And I think that's part of why I have stayed as like a full-time W2-ish person. But with that said, the flexibility that you get as a consultant or a fractional employee or anything like that is pretty unmatched. And I know that Shannon, you will be much more disciplined. You will probably not have the consulting fails. I can just tell that about you. Like your model is like a good model.
Yeah, I turned down 3 jobs last year. I know. And I know.
Exactly.
And yeah, I was like, yeah, no. I try and think about my business as like I'm building a business. Like it's not a bunch of contracting gigs, which I think is what's helped me to say like, hey, if I go work for you, it means I'm not working for me. And that's not what I'm in this for. So I think that's also, Rachel, we've only done like 3 episodes and I'm almost crying already. I promised myself I wouldn't cry on this podcast like really early, but listening to you talk about this, like the idea that I always say, like, no one has control of my calendar now. Like, no one has control, right? Like, no one can book because they know that they see there's something open or they decided they're more important than the other thing that was on there. It's like, I'm really busy right now. My business is very, very busy and I'm grateful, so grateful. But I do drop off every day. I do pick up every day. Like, there are some non-negotiables for me. Like, when we started this podcast, I was like, great, this is the only thing I'll do on Fridays. Like, I used to have no meeting Fridays. But I'm fine working Saturday nights. That's fine. That's, as my boss, my boss, I tell myself that's fine. And because for me, I would rather work Saturday nights. And like last week I did drop off with my son. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 8-month-old, and I bring her back with me usually. And drop off's very chaotic, getting both kids out of the house, like doing all that, whatever. It's crazy. My husband goes to work at 5 a.m. so he can never help with that. So I allow myself to get like a coffee out like 2 times a week. Also, I like to see human beings. That like IRL, that's good for me, right? Like, and local coffee shops, support the local biz around here. And I realized one day I went to go run back out and I looked at my daughter. I'm like, why don't we sit here and have breakfast? So we did. Like, we are the architects of the rhythm of our life. And that's what I tell
100%.
myself. It's like one of the things I write in my journal in the morning, right? Like, or at night or whenever I end up journaling, usually not in the morning. And there is this like beautiful power to that. Right. Like, it is. And my kids are not going to need me this much forever. Like, right. Like, I would love to hear, Rachel, you're both Mallory and Rachel. You're both ahead of me in this way. Like, I am still in the survive and keep alive phase. But yeah, it is a really powerful decision to make. It is. And it's like, and it's hard. You're faced with the opportunity to do other things, to have security. Like, you have to really, really commit. It's really hard. Yeah. But for me, worth it right now.
It's different, I would say. So our oldest is almost 12, and then we have a 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old, and then now, as of yesterday, 6-year-old. And I can tell you, 12-year-old girls are, it's whoa. It's just whoa.
I cannot imagine. Oh,
it's middle school girls are mean. It's just like whole another level. But there's sometimes where I like go to bed and I'm like, I was a good mom today, and I helped her. Like, mean girls
That's
are mean,
amazing.
and there's just another level of mean. But it was like last week when I helped her make up with a really good friend of hers, and I could hear. And so little girls now, and I'll call her a little girl, preteens now, they stand in the bathroom and they're all on FaceTime together. And they're doing makeup routines, and to hear them giggle and all do their little makeup routines together, like, mom win this week, because it took us a minute to get there. But it's like those micro moments. If I was working my thankless W-2 job, I would have missed that. Because I would have been traveling, or I would have been working, or I would have been on some phone call that I couldn't get off of, and I would have missed it. And I think that for me is like the thing is I wouldn't have been able to be and here's some advice. When I have the best conversations with my daughter in the car. And I had another mom tell me that for whatever reason, when you're facing forward and driving and she's in the back seat, there's something magical about that conversation, that you can have the deepest conversations with your child while you're sitting in the car. And I was like, what are you talking about? But I'm telling you, it works. So I've solved so many teen drama problems while I've been driving places with my daughter. So, but we solved all the problems in the world last week while she was giggling in our bathroom with her friends, and I was like, mom win this week.
Absolutely.
So,
good
but
for
I would
you.
have missed it if I would have been working some corporate thankless job. I would have missed it. So
that's amazing.
I do think, Mallory, you have the discipline, though, of holding boundaries with a W-2 that I don't have. So that's I think you are better at that, though, than I am. Like, I think it's interesting. I think it's a mindset, right? Like, it's you can do it. It just requires a role, a certain team, a certain type of person, a certain setup, I think it's very specific.
Yeah. It has to be the right company and the right team, to your point. The boundaries are still super blurry. because I don't count how many hours I work in a week, and the flexibility, I communicate that like early in interview process, that the flexibility is super important to me. It's not the same, but you do your best. You leave early to go to the school events regardless. You have to like have some rules in place. But I just love what you said, Rachel, about the micro moments and being really present. I think no matter what kind of job you have, you can learn from that. Like, these moments come and go, and sometimes you don't even notice them, but like just noticing them and counting that win for yourself, I think is amazing. So I'm like, you're such a mom goal. Your goals.
Seriously,
Rachel.
No,
seriously.
no. I'm not. I think there's definitely times where I will call my mom up, and my mom and I have a amazing relationship. She lives in town. She has car seats in her car. I'm like texting her under the table. I'm like, Mom, like, I'm still sitting in a call. My husband's downtown. Like, I need you to pick up our kids because I have this club after school at 3:30 and I have a meeting till 3:15 that I know is going to run over. And she's like on it. And she's my kid's favorite person in the whole world. And I'm so eternally grateful for that. But she's also an amazing sounding board too. And I think it's regardless of what your relationship is with your mom, but it's having those people in your life that you have a sounding board that you can say, am I crazy? And they're like, no, you're not crazy. This is just life. But with my middle daughter, she is very strong-willed. She also has ADHD, and ODD, which we've diagnosed in the last year. And there's many days where I call her and I'm like, Mom, it's either her or me. Today it's her. I don't know if we're gonna make it.
One person's leaving the island.
And it's today I'm gonna be voted off. And my mom's like, she's probably gonna be president of the United States one day. And I'm like, you're probably right, but we gotta make it through teenage years, and I don't know if we're gonna make it. So
isn't that all middle kids though?
I joke that my son, so you know how they just like really, there's no better way to see this than like a 2-year-old soccer practice. Like when you bring your kids, you're like, oh, these kids just are who they are. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much you can do.
Unapologetically.
Yeah. And so I started my son in soccer this year mostly because so I live in Boston. It's very cold. Like we got to do something with him on Saturday mornings. My husband was doing overtime every Saturday. So I had both kids and I was like, forget that. Like we need an activity. So I bring him and there's 8 other kids and he clearly understands all the instructions, just decides if he like cares to or not. It's one of those where he's like, meh. And he's one of the youngest kids in there, but he knows what's up. He just is like, sometimes I don't feel like doing this, so I'm not going to. And then at one point the coach goes, ready, set, and Sebastian goes, go! And all of the kids just like, he like created like a coup at soccer. Like he decided when everyone was going to go. Like it was his choice. And I look sometimes like I either have a CEO or like a really scary like dictator on my hands. And we're going to have to make sure this goes in the right direction. Like channeling this. He just does not care what any other kid is doing. Like he's going to do what he's going to do when he wants to do it. And I'm like, it's kind of amazing to watch though. Like I am just like so in awe of that. It's going to make my life extremely hard, as I think you were probably discussing. But it's like, I want to foster that. Like, keep it going, bud, as long as you're really nice. Like, you got to be really nice. And if you are, then it's okay. But it's, but yeah, he has the same energy and it's scary. Very scary.
We had so my middle daughter, we had a kindergarten teacher that labeled her as bossy, which is, by the way, my least favorite term for girls. By the way, I adore this woman. She's actually my son's kindergarten teacher. But I think we got started on like the wrong foot. So very early in the year, she was like, hey, we're having a challenge. My middle daughter's name is Eliana. We're having a challenge with Eliana. And she's like being really bossy with other kids. I was like, I was
hold
like,
on.
Hold on. What did you just say? What word did you say? She's like, she's being a little bossy. And I was like, that's like a no word in our house. Like, I'm raising like strong, powerful women. And I don't think you understand what we're doing in our house. And I was like, what are you seeing that she's doing? And she's like, well, she's kind of ordering other kids around and she like wants to be the boss. And I'm like, yep, that tracks. And
are the other kids doing the right things?
I was like, are they listening to her? And they're like, yeah, they are. I was like, is she doing anything wrong? She's like, no, but she just wants to basically be the leader. I was like, and there's a problem with this because?
Sounds like she has CEO potential. I don't know what the problem here is. I don't.
Or she's going to be president of the United States. But I don't know. We had exchanged some words. And again, my son has her and she is phenomenal. But it was just like that, like one word that like causes you pause when someone calls your very strong-willed daughter bossy. And you're like, no, we're not going here. TV timeout. We're not going here. This is just not a word that we use to describe your child. So it's like those labels. We just don't do it in our house. So
it's a good
and it's not. It's like when you do it that early too. Like I'm happy. I own bossy now. I'm like I am bossy.
Oh.
Yes, thank you. It's a descriptor of me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like I am the boss. It's clear. So, but like we don't need to put that on a child.
But
you
you're
know what I mean? Like that is.
Yes, I'm being the boss today. But she was using it in a negative connotation.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm like, no. You're not calling a 5-year-old bossy. Like this is not a positive descriptor that you're using for my child.
Or constructive in any way. Where like
no,
that's not
like this is not helpful. So
yeah, that's so true. How do you guys think about setting expectations with your clients to explain to them that you are going to have boundaries on the amount of time you put in, and you're going to have boundaries on maybe how many clients you have or what you reserve for family time? Like, how do you have those conversations? Because you kind of have a sales cycle where you're making an agreement to work with this business. And I wonder, do you talk about that up front? How do you set those expectations?
Yeah. So the way that I work my contracts in general is I give an hourly amount for the month. And I do that so that it allows, and I take on probably one main client, and then I take on maybe like one or two smaller clients, and then it may be an advisory. So I like to go deep with my clients versus wide. It's just a personal choice of mine. And so that client really is my main focus, that main client. I am in the business. I have an email address. I have a calendar. And then I number one, my calendar, I'm a live and die by my calendar. The first thing I do when I get into that business is I will block the 4 to 5 time frame every single day. That is my time frame that I pick up my kids. Both my girls are all-star cheerleaders, and I am getting them ready, getting snacks, and they're at practice by 5. I'm happy to take a call at 5:05, but between 4 and 5 is mine. So it is blocked every single day. And that's it. And it says ask before scheduling, and is busy every single day. And I make that very clear that it's an auto decline. And so that's just how I set the calendar up. So I think it's first from a boundary perspective, it's what are the words that you use on your calendar? And that's immediately the first thing that I do. Number 2 is I set my calendar to 9 a.m. So it's basically 9 to 4 every single day.
Right.
Our kids have late start on Wednesdays, which is a whole other level of fun. My middle daughter gets on the bus at 8:40 on Wednesdays.
That is late.
Oh, it's a whole life you live before
It's a whole life. It's a whole life. I mean, she's really self-sufficient, but it's 8:40. So it's making sure that she gets on the bus. It's making sure that there's a bus app. So I can call to her and say, hey, I need you to walk out to the bus. But it's still, I can't be in the middle of a presentation or something at that time. You still have to be mom. And so it's setting those expectations with clients early to say, hey, on Wednesdays, like this is the time that I have available. And so I just do it all week. So for me, it's calendar setting. And then the other thing I tell people is I set 3-month contracts. I do that for me and I do that for them. If we like each other and we want to set a longer contract, great. If it's not working out, that's okay too, on both sides. And sometimes it's just not a match, and that's okay. So I'll finish my deliverables and you pay me and we're done. And I feel like that's fair on both sides. I also have a no asshole rule because I've worked with enough assholes in my career that I've had to stick around long enough and endure, and I just won't do it. And
I love that
I won't
rule.
do the disrespect.
Everyone should have that rule. Yeah, for sure.
You get to pick and choose in this world who you work with, and I won't do it.
Me neither. You're very disciplined, which is good. I have a little bit of a different setup where I actually don't do hours. If anyone asks me how many hours they get from me, I say, we're going to align on milestones. So here's the milestones. Like, I know what that takes usually to get done. You'll have me for the amount of hours that it takes. And all of my clients have the same retainer. And so I actually do like a standard offer. So it's a little bit different. And I do have email addresses for all of them, but their calendars are not a source of truth for me. So like I will use like an invite on that calendar. That's fine. But that is not what my availability is. So my availability is still through my calendar link. You have to book through me. It'll show you what available times there are. So that's what I currently have going on. I really don't have this figured out though, Rachel. You're like way further down the road than I am. I'm hiring an EA right now because it's a nightmare. So I like have to get a little bit of structure put in place. But yeah, I don't do meetings. I really only meet between 10 and 2. That's pretty much it. I do make exceptions, but they're exceptions, right? Like that's like, I really prefer to meet during those times. All my clients also are in different time zones. So I usually just try and make it work for whenever we have to. But yeah, it's hard because my boundaries are a little bit flexible. My kids are really little, so their schedules are a little more flexible than like have a practice at exact same time every day. Like I can pick my son up anytime before 5 o'clock. Like I usually pick him up at 3, but I can pick him up at 4. Like yesterday I picked him up at 4:15. Not. So I have like a little bit of a different situation. And my daughter's just like there. So she's just hanging out. She's here for the ride. And my husband, though, has a really regimented, he's a union electrician. So like he works union hours. So like he has very, very strict hours. So that's like that's fixed for me, which is good. So I can know when he's going to be around, when he's not. But yeah, I'm a little bit looser when it comes to my structure. But that just means I have to, as long as I'm delivering, I've never had a problem. And
Awesome.
usually I ask them to commit to 3 to 4 months, and then we usually extend after that too. A little less specific on the contract, but agreed. Very similar, like trial period.
That's great. I remember back in the day, I did so many different styles of contracts, and some people just wanted to pay for a number of hours at a certain rate. And I was like, you know what? That's fine by me. Like, I'll track my time and you can do that. So it allowed me to, be diligent about knowing how much time I was putting in. But yeah, now I definitely don't track anything like that. If I tracked it, I might get scared. So I want to do like a small transition here. Rachel and I were connected to a lot of the same people on LinkedIn, a lot of people in our same circle. And there has been a little bit of drama lately around this fractional situation and, the new F word, as Rachel said. So I would love to have Rachel comment on this and explain what is going on. But the gist from my standpoint is that people have started to put up a little bit of a boundary around fractional workers or fractional consultants versus operators who are like full-time in seat. And whatever you do with that difference, who knows? But to just even define it that way is getting a lot of airtime right now. And so you had a great post on this, Rachel. I'd love for you to take us through how you think about this.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I think that you're right. It's getting a lot of airtime, and I'll say a little bit of unnecessary airtime. I think that, first of all, we're needing I'll say a little bit of a nomenclature exercise. First of all, I hate the term in-seat operator. I mean, at the end of the day, in seat, I've sat in the CMO seat 5 times. Right. In seat. Been paid as a W-2 employee 5 times. I have worked with, I can't even tell you how many companies as the interim and or sat in the seat as a CMO fractionally. And the fact that people are, this is my soapbox moment, by the way.
Love it. Go off, queen.
Bring it.
The fact that people are saying that I do not have the same credentials as somebody that is being paid in a different way makes me so angry, because we're being paid differently. So this whole term of in-seat operator, in my opinion, is being used as a gatekeeping language. And it's happening in executive communities. It's happening in events. It's happening for speaking. And so I can tell you that there was a conference that I spoke at a year and a half ago, and I went to apply to speak again on a different topic. And I was told by the event coordinators that they're no longer accepting applications from fractionals.
Same event that you've already spoken at.
Same event. And then to go even further,
wow,
I'm not even allowed to go anymore. So a year and a half ago.
Because they think you're going to sell. They think you're going to sell instead of be there as,
100%. So, and it's like, are you now saying that all salespeople sell? Are we saying that all CROs sell? So we're now starting to bucket people in these buckets and saying that all of these types of people are exactly the same. All of these types of people are exactly the same. And it's driving me batty. For me, it kind of begs the question of, like, if we're talking about nomenclature, like, what exactly are we talking about is an in-seat operator actually? Because no one has yet to, like, not a community, not an event, nobody has actually said, like, this is our definition of what an in-seat operator actually is. So in my case, this is what I'm defining as just an operator. So I would like to remove the in-seat part, and I would just like to say, like, this is what an operator is. So I would like to say an operator is somebody that needs to own, in my case, a CMO. They need to own the marketing or go-to-market strategy and the execution. They need to own budgets and P&L and key business metrics. They need to create and present board decks or advise CEOs and executive teams on board level narratives. They need to be able to do those things, and they have done those things. They need to make hiring, tech, and positioning decisions. Not advise on them. They need to have done those things. They need to operate inside the business and not adjacent to it. Would you guys add anything else?
No, I think there's also, Rachel, I this used to really bother me too. And then I was like, I just decided one day to be like, I'm too busy making money to care that you guys don't think I'm important. So clip it. But I think there is this interesting thing too, because I actually started my fractional business because I think I watched the average tenure of a VP be 15 months or less. I was just with one of my clients for longer than that. So I've actually been running marketing at a startup for longer than a lot of in-seat operators, right? And I think the reason why I started my business too is I thought Series A and below didn't need executives. I think they don't. I think
100%.
So I actually think the model is broken, and that's why I started exactly what I did, right? Like I transitioned my first VP of marketing role into a fractional role because that's what they needed. They needed 3 doers and me guiding the strategy, going to the board meeting, communicating with the budget, like all of the big decisions. And I joke now that actually I had a very similar experience when I was a VP of marketing. I was asked to be on like 5 podcasts a week, 4 events, like everything, right? And the second I go fractional, crickets, fine, whatever. I actually don't really care that much about that stuff. Just start your own podcast. Here we are. But I now influence 4 marketing budgets. So if you were a software provider, I could buy you 4 times right now. Like I can buy you 400% more than any other in-seat operator, right? Like, and so that's what I think is funny is like,
get him, Shannon, get him.
Well, it's just,
get him, girl.
I'm just spitting facts. You know what I mean? Like this is just true, right?
I know.
And so a lot of what I'm asked to do is like, hey, can you set up the team? Can you set up the tech stack? Like, can you do the thing? And I'm like, absolutely I can. I got a guy, I got a gal, I got a thing, and I have a thing I hate, and we're not using that because I don't like it. Right. And they're like, great. You know, like it's a really interesting thing where
we want all your recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think there is like you're an influencer, like you're the definition of influence, right? Like that is what it is. And I do think there is, I think because the fractional world blew up in the last few years of a lot of executives that actually had lost their jobs. And so they were doing consulting in between roles. That also has happened where they're just doing it. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
They're toe dippers. They're deciding whether or not they like it. And then there's a bunch of people that are like you and I that are doing this for our careers. And like, I got my whole body in the pool. I'm not leaving the pool. You're not leaving the pool.
Tell me about it. I'm getting pruny in here. Like, tell me about it. It's and I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, I think there is so much value in taking time in your career to try different things. But I think this is like the internet hates nuance. Like, it just hates it. And it's like nothing is dead, nothing is alive, like all this stuff that you like to talk about, right?
Everything is real.
Everything is real. And nothing is real, actually. But I think there is this idea that, all consultants are just doing this because they weren't successful full time, or they are looking for their next full time role. They can't get a full time job. And it's like, that might be true for a lot of people. Like, that's okay too. Like, that if that's that's the phase of your life you're in, like, we've all been laid off. Like, we've all had all those experiences, right? But like, I quit my full-time job to build this business, and this is how I'm building it. And if you want my perspective, that's great. But I do think you're missing a huge mark of not engaging this really influential audience that can help your business, right? Like, I think that's a big part of it too. And so, yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I've been kind of away from the conversation. I know that it's there, but that's happening because I'm kind of like, guys, I don't know, man. Like, it's like, if this is really getting your britches up in a bundle, like, maybe you just met some fractional people you don't really like, which is okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. Yeah. But the speaking thing stinks, Rachel. Like, that is the worst. I hate that for you.
And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's like, did I do something wrong last year? Like that. And I think that as people, or at least that's how I work, is you first go to yourself. You're like, did I do something wrong? And it's like, no, it's not you. It's everybody else or it's one bad apple that spoiled the bunch. I do want to go back to something that you said, because I also work with a very similar audience. I work with Series A and early B clients. And I actually would add on to something that you said. I do not think it's fiscally responsible for those clients to be hiring multiple executives that carry $4,000, $500,000 salaries. It's not fiscally responsible for them. The most fiscally responsible thing for them to do is to hire some doers, maybe, and then hire somebody fractionally that has your and my tenure in the world, and have us fractionally in there at a fraction of that salary, by the way, to help them guide that, and or to train somebody more junior up to maybe a director level. It's not fiscally responsible. And I think that's something that people are missing. You're missing the point. You're forcing some of these small companies you're telling them that what they're doing is wrong, that they should go hire all of these bloated salaries when they cannot afford it. And
dilute their equity. Like, that's another
dilute
part
their equity.
Yeah.
When they're not ready to do that yet. Yep. So that's what the market is, I think, telling these small companies. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, look at the market, look at these small businesses, and you're basically telling them that their strategy is wrong. So outside of me and you and our egos or lack thereof, I don't care if I speak on a stage again. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'll find that. And, it's platforms like this with women like you, and I'll find that. But I'm more worried about my clients and what's going to happen to them if the market is telling them that the strategy is wrong.
And I think if you're in there and it's working, the proof is in that. And your clients talk about those things. They refer you to other people. Hopefully, people are not just getting swept up in LinkedIn chatter. I think the proof is in doing it. Well, if
everything else that they're reading is fractionals are bad, and everything that they're reading and everything that their investors are reading is fractionals are bad, eventually it's going to come back around. So that's what I'm worried about. That.
Yeah, I've actually seen combating that. So I haven't seen it as much because I actually know I often am placed by a VC, right? Like they'll not place necessarily, but they'll refer me business, right? And they close very well, right? Because usually the companies like their VC to be happy, and they love a light balance sheet. You know what I mean? Oh. They love, and I've worked in VC, right? Like you worked in PE. And so I actually think the more VCs that see value in this too, the better, right? I work mostly with VC-backed companies, so it's different than if you're bootstrapped. That's amazing. Go do that. That's amazing. But I think they also want you to be really thoughtful. I think we've also been around the VC kind of spiral a bunch of times. Sorry, this is not about being a mom, but I am curious here. Is enough times where they've seen like you can't go through 4 sales leaders in 1 year. Like I have been at a company where I've seen 4 VPs of sales in the time that I was there. And it's like,
that's crazy.
It just doesn't work anymore, guys. Like, and I think they're starting to get it too. I think at least hopefully I can give you a little solace, Rachel. I've started to see it on my end of them being like, wow, like you can get so much more efficiency out of this model. Like this is looking way better. So I hope that's a little bit of sunshine for your feeling on it. But I think maybe I'm just in my own little world over here. But it is, I see the chatter too though. Like I see it and I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, okay. Like SDRs are dead. They're not. They work some places. You know what I mean? Like, like there's
they don't work other places, but that's fine.
Because nuance and the internet hates it. You know what I mean? Like there's I think it depends is annoying, but it really does, so.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Well, I am going to be staying tuned to just see how this all pans out. I think that Rachel and I and a lot of the moms, frankly, out there have a tight circle and they don't plan to accept this like as the new reality. And whether it's, inadvertent or not, I think it does adversely impact moms because moms have this amazing opportunity to work less, make the same money or more, be fulfilled, be there for their kids in this like fractional world. And I think it's more prevalent with moms. I could be wrong about that, but like a lot of the people 100%. That I know, they are moms. And so you're effectively boxing out this like demographic in a way that I don't think people will put up with. So we will see what happens. And thank you for being like so upfront about it, Rachel, and like just telling these stories of these crazy moments that you've experienced, because I think there are a lot of people out there who probably could run into the same thing. And I think that you've handled everything with a lot of grace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep fighting the good fight, Rachel. I appreciate you.
I will.
Yes.
As one of the pioneers, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. We are coming up on time. I think it would be great for us to do our saves of the week. All right. So this could be a person, a place, a thing, like whatever it is that saved your butt this week. We want to know about it and give a quick shout out. So Shannon, I'm going to make you go first because I'm still trying to think about mine.
Sure. I'm going to do a person again, but it's really a setup. And Rachel, you inspired me. I had a different one, but you inspired me when you were talking about your mom. So my parents still work full time. So do my in-laws. So I don't have like grandparent childcare really, but my mom works 4/10s during the week so she can take Thursdays off. And she's always watched my nieces on that day. So I've decided to hop on and have her watch my daughter on those days. So I go to their house and my mom takes my daughter and she goes and picks up my nieces with her. So like talk about car seats in the car. Car seats are facing the right direction. We figured it out. Like one needs to be forward, one needs to be back. But she has all the right car seats. And I always joke that I leave my brain and my bag at home when I go to my mom's, to Nana's, right? Like she has the right size diaper. She has the snacks. She has like the cups, right? She has extra clothes. She has that are in the right size mostly. And I go there and I'm able to really turn, and I trust her, right? Like that's a really big part of it, right? Is like, I have a baby that currently is refusing to take a bottle. So I have to be around, right? I am able to go there and I was back to back for 5 hours on meetings, which is so unusual for me. But I had stacked them all on this day because I had some spotty childcare earlier in the week. And I was able to just rip, right? Like I was like just in and out. I was plugged in. I was, her lighting in her dining room could use some work. But other than that, we were really rocking, like and so major save of the week is Hotel Nana, that for sure. And the car seat thing is, man, like to not have to think about that. Like there's just so much mental load that's taken off, right? When you have that kind of help. So shout out to my mom. Yep. I wonder if she's listening. She probably is. If we can figure out how to get this on her phone, Mom. She doesn't know how to do that. So
I'll add one thing to that. My mom actually watched all of my babies for the first 6 months of their life.
Wow.
And so you say like special. Leaving the mental load there. You're like, here's my kid. Bye. I gotta go about them.
Like I survived, so they will.
I survived. Like I literally was able to like leave my kid and not go like, ooh, did daycare like remember to change your diaper or anything? And then my son, do the math, February 12th to March 10th, 3 weeks before COVID.
No.
She was the only person that was allowed in our house during COVID. She did COVID kindergarten with my daughter, and she had her own baby wearing apparatus.
Wow.
So it was either her, me, or my husband who was wearing my son. So
Wow.
I'm all plugged in, and my kids call my mom Moo, as an MOO.
Love.
And so it was Moo, the savior Moo. So I am all plugged in on, my mom is like my person. She's my kid's person. So I'm like all in on that save. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. For myself, I think I'm going to give a shout out to my chair. I know this is so strange.
Love.
And it's a very different like left turn that we're taking here. This way's left. So I need a new chair, and I kept getting those blasted Instagram ads for things. And I was getting ads for this ball chair, like this balloon ball chair. And it's just so chic, and it looked so pretty. And so I pulled the trigger to try it out, and I love it. I love sitting on this ball, and I feel like it's good because I can sort of like move around a little bit, but I'm not falling over. It's for your core, I guess. Yeah. And a lot of people ask me questions about it. It's a great conversation starter. And so I've decided that it's my favorite thing this week. Should I show
love
it?
that.
Can I show
Yeah.
it?
You
Excuse
should.
me. Vanna White, get up, please.
All right.
Ooh,
Here she is.
Love.
That's amazing.
You got the brown. Yeah, and
like
so on
it.
the bottom, it's flat, and it's got like a little bit of weight to it so that you don't fall over. And
Fabulous.
I like it a lot.
Not like the maternity
story.
ball as you're sitting there and you feel like you're going to fall over.
PTSD about the maternity ball.
Did you think about that when you picked it up? Okay. Well, I was not the only one. Okay.
My eyes start twitching. I'm like, oh no. I'm like way too freshly postpartum. I can't think about it. I'm getting the chills. All right, go Rachel. Your turn.
Okay. My save of the week is going to be meal planning. So
Yes.
as I mentioned, I should probably have like my little list. But I have as I mentioned earlier, I have 2 all-star cheerleaders. We're in the gym 4 days a week. And this one side of my little list, I got this thing on Amazon. It has a shopping list on one side of the week, and then it tears off. And then on the other side, it has all of our meals for the week. And what I do is I take a picture of it, and then I can send that to my husband. And so he can, then all of those are linked to the Pinterest links that we're having for the week.
Pinterest. Love.
Oh, nice.
So if there's recipes, otherwise it's like, like quesadillas or grilled cheese, and he can manage those. Those are like the dad-friendly meals. But if it requires a recipe, there's usually a Pinterest link that I can send him so he can start dinner. But meal planning is our like ride or die thing. The other side of the list is how I shop. So like if it goes on the left side, then the right side, all of the ingredients go on it, and then I shop for the ingredients, and it also has saved us hundreds and hundreds of dollars of not walking around the grocery store aimlessly. So that is my save.
And not letting things go bad because you bought them and then never use them. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm inspired.
Me too.
Let's be clear. I'm not going to start the meal planning, but I wish I would. And I aspire to be like you, Rachel.
Me too. Maybe in 12 years when I have a 12-year-old.
By the way, I do see Mallory and I do live really close together, and I do see her at Kroger sometimes.
That's
I'm
so
jealous.
true.
It is so true.
Yeah. It's been multiple times that I've seen you at Kroger. And I feel like that's how we kept up with like how many kids we had in our families and all the things over the years. So this was so special. I appreciate you coming and talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
We're very early on in this adventure, and
Yes.
it's just great to be able to talk to women who have such cool things to say right off the bat. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, and I'd love to come back and maybe share some other cool things like later on. I'm sure this podcast is going to blow up, and you both are so fun, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Thanks for listening to Full Stack Moms.
We'll be back with more episodes that help you see you're not crazy and you're not alone. If we might be your people, please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
If you go back, like if you leave, and when you go to come back, it'll tell you the name of the microphone you're using. Yeah. All right, no problem. I know, I realized like 10 minutes into the last one we did that I didn't have my microphone. I was like, Shannon, what's going on? Like, my brain is like half working. Rachel, it's so nice to meet you. I feel
It's
like we
so
were
good to meet you
connected,
too.
but I didn't.
I think we are somehow. I don't know.
Internet friends. I know.
Yes. I've known Mal for years and years and years.
Love that. One of the lucky ones.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How many years?
Since ET. So
I know.
2012?
2012.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
What
Since I was sitting on the fourth
That's
floor.
when I met my husband.